the Creator. An earnest, true Lankavatarian adept of the unborn mind school should recognize and be fully convinced that this triple world is nothing but a complex manifestation of one's mental activities, that it is devoid of selfness and its belongings, that there are no strivings, no comings and no goings. In light of the Lanka, one should recognize and accept the fact that this triple world is manifested and imagined as real only under the influence of habit energy that has been accumulated since the beginningless past, by reason of memory, false imagination, false reasoning as well as attachments to the multiplicities of objects and reactions in close relationship and in conformity to ideas of body property and its master, the imaginary mind. As to the second thing, one should recognize and be convinced that all things are to be regarded as forms seen in a vision and a dream, empty of substance, unborn without self-nature, that all things exist only by reason of a complicated network of causation. As for the third, one should recognize and patiently accept the fact that his own mind and personality is also mind constructed, thus imaginary, that it is originally empty of substance, unborn and egoless. Buddha Gautama stressed the importance that all notions of something that constitutes something you call personality or personal soul, or even supreme spirit, or what we imagine to be God, is all resulting from this very powerful thing called imagination and thus a pure manifestation of the mind. This human distinction between creator and created is manifested in the human culture with countless forms, rituals and laws on how to behave and live in order to manage to have one's personal soul accepted by this God. Within this Saha realm, many recognize this thing called guilt, or sin and even human imperfection. It is especially noted that those with Christian origin suffer from this mind disease called guilt. Well, I can only say that once one imagines something unattainable and apart from the supreme unborn self, is doomed to be nothing but imperfect and thus subject to different forms of subjective suffering. Thus whether you succeed or fail in life, you will most likely still have this feeling of a black empty hole or void within you. Unless you do not realize the unborn mind that shines brilliantly before your every sense, it will not matter if you become a very rich person or a happily married person. The feeling of a void will still be there one day and thus cause its own special suffering depending on a particular state of mind deriving from a specific situation. The creation of a personal creator God is originally constituted by discriminating minds and is set into motion by inevitable constituted laws that one has chosen to obey without any questioning. Buddha Gautama basically says that once one recognizes the source of all things, namely the unborn mind, one will understand the true nature of its perfect and egoless state, which needs nothing once it is fully recollected, enlightened. This is attained by a perfect wisdom which can only be activated by a perfect state of imagelessness. One should therefore cease to imagine or obsessively desire things. By imagination you create a countless number of ghosts in your lives, all created by this most perfect and limitless mind used in an imperfect mode, imaginary mind. Instead you should get to know its nature, which is eternally undisturbed, in perfect samadhi and all illuminative, of everything, instantly and beyond that which plagues your imaginary minds, namely time and space. If you discover or recollect a glimpse of this unborn mind, you enter a path called right view. Here you will realize that questions or desires are useless, as the unborn mind has no need of such things as deluded fantasies or things or notions of a perfect world. Once entering such a state, the one awakened to this right view recalls the source of all sources and has the perfect freedom to cultivate and finally enter this state permanently, parinirvana. This action should not be considered as an egoistic action. What merely happens is a perfect recollection of the one becomes many, many becomes one, which is no more or less than the universal unborn mind. Its nature is pure and naturally luminous, utterly dynamic in its blissful radiant light and limitless in its compassion for all sentient beings. May the light guide you and protect you on the path you have chosen. All my hopes. Tozen.